force of poke damage on the side here, but a lot of actions happening in the brush side. Looks like the members of CG are kind of clumped up there, but for the Malok is chasing back this Ryoma back to the Sage Bomb area, so it's going to be a two-man stun. Coming from the L'Oreal, looks like they did invade the Sage side, pushing away the Ryoma, low on health, and the Arduin landing the Great 3-man knockdown, and that's the first blood going to Kuroki. Now Sage Golem has been taken away by BRENT Esports, but they want more. They take away with a double kill.
See, that's how you come back from a crushing loss like that BRENT Esports is coming back from. BRENT is taking that aggression. They're being very aggressive, harassing the enemy jungle, as well as getting that early first blood, as well as getting that early second kill. Both of these going to Violet. This is going to snowball Violet out of control, especially if they can't find a way to instantly take away that early lead.
You know, Marco, isn't it a great start for BRENT Esports? Going into this game 2, coming from game 1 with a loss, they put this Violet on a double kill. That's a way to go.
Yeah, it's very, very good. This is how you come back from something like that. It's how you play this team. I mean, early on, it might seem like CG has the advantage because they have quote-unquote more off-tanks. However, the real thing here is that Kilgroth doesn't actually gain a lot of power until he has his big power items. So, by taking advantage of this, that early team fight was actually essentially a 4v5 because Kilgroth basically does nothing without his ultimate and without all of his skills available. So, with that in mind, I think BRENT has identified this key weakness and went in there, taking advantage of that early game weakness on CG's composition.
Because for CG, yes, you did say they were on the Kilgroth, and what easier way than to deny the Kilgroth than shut it completely down, shut down the whole kitchen for this Kilgroth to scale up.
It's very, very good as well because they were able to deny Ryoma his early Sage buff and able to basically kill him. This sets Ryoma back. Ryoma's actually the strongest in the early to mid game. So by neutering him this early, we might see that Ryoma's effectiveness is very much reduced.
Okay, so as from the double kill happening, going over the BRENT Esports side, looks like they're feeling confident here, Marco. Going for this Abyssal Dragon. Low on health. And I think for CG, they know what happened in the Sage area. Looks like they might not intervene, but looks like we're seeing the members of BRENT Esports after the Abyssal. Can we expect them to go for the mid lane? But for CG, they will just scatter away.
I mean, it's very, very simple, right? They had 4 people there. Kilgroth is basically useless. And on the opposite side of the map, there was no way for them to do anything there.
So they go for a dive here. The Malok is level 4. As the other members of CG are quite under level, having not yet their ultimates unlocked. But for BRENT Esports, seeing how they've got the early lead, Marco, I think we have a treat for the audience here because we're going to see BRENT Esports playing more aggressive and also try to take away more objectives from CG.
It's all about the team compositions as well. Remember that BRENT actually has 2 very high impact ultimates on their team, with Malok as well as Ornmar's ultimate being very effective at huge team fights. On the other hand, CG doesn't really have that team fight mega potential. Sure, they have L'Oreal, but like, that's pretty much it. The rest of the ultimates aren't that high impact on their team. We're just gonna have to wait until whether or not that Kilgroth is able to farm and scale up into the late game.
So that's the game for CG, everyone. I mean, going for this Kilgroth, putting all their eggs on this Kilgroth to scale up. But for BRENT Esports, only time will tell if they can fully shut it down for CG. But seeing, as you said, yeah, they're more on relying on this Kilgroth. Also, not that for the L'Oreal too. But we're always also seeing CC and Engage coming from the Thane and also the Arduin from CG.
Yeah, I mean, Preyta's actually just there harassing the middle lane, being very safe at his huge range.
Hold that thought, looks like this Malok has been picked up by 3 members of CG. Overstep does ultimate away to safety. Forced to use that as an escape. Looks like for BRENT Esports, they did lose a tool, but it has a relatively short cooldown, but I don't think it will be enough in time for this dive here done by BRENT Esports in the bot lane. going for the Thane, but now look at Leo from the sideline with a L'Oreal with the damage, and Black gets the kill. This is not the end. The Malik is low in health, and CG, they want more.
Absolutely demolished Vulcan. This is not what I was expecting. I was actually expecting that the Kilgroth would be the one carrying them, but it seems that their team fight potential, that was just absolutely a great team fight from CG side. They were able to put Bren into the position that they wanted them to be in, so that L'Oreal was able to capitalize on her ultimate, and that ultimate from the Thane absolutely just demolishing like half of that entire encounter was absolutely beautiful. Good job, CG Black. Good job.
I mean, I think to everyone watching right now, we gotta say that from the rough start they had, it's okay because they came back to this game getting that wipeout near the Abyssal Dragon area, and also taking away the second Abyssal Dragon spawning in this game here, going to CG. But for BRENT Esports, now is the time for them to take a bit of caution because they cannot, you know, go for those confident invades, because for CG, they're slowly catching up to this game. You can see right now this lane going in there, gets the knock up there, gets the lockdown on to the Ormar. Looks like things are in a big trouble here. This is going to be BRENT Esports. Okay. They have no casualties here, Marco.
Yeah.
I think this is safe.
It was not a very good trade on BRENT's side. They need that Kratos to be able to do that area of effect damage from a safe distance. So it was very intelligent for them to move away from that entire encounter. So they're gonna have to bundle up together and roam together in order to be more effective. Their team fights aren't gonna be as good as CG if CG has more members than they do. So they have to be very careful, pick their fights carefully, and that
instead of picking fights, they're gonna pick up the team members here. But BRENT Esports hold up in the 4 members in the mine area. They just get completely punished here. They not expect to see Roki in the backline, and now for CG, they have lost more than they can hope for here in this siege area. Right on the Might Golem area.
This is what I was talking about earlier. This is more like what I was expecting from these team compositions. You know, BRENT has 2 really high impact ultimates on their team. CG doesn't have a lot, and so that entire team fight ended up with BRENT taking it for the win because of their great ultimates.
So now, I think, Marco, we're seeing now
a red team tower has been
we're seeing the kill
destroyed.
score 6-4. Now for the gold lead, we're seeing here for 3,000 for BRENT Esports side. They want to establish that dominating lead. I feel love to see for any team.
I mean, this is just going to extend their gold lead even more. And this is very, very important to remember that the people with the kills on BRENT's team are Violet and Malik. Though the Malik is not as important, the Violet is very, very good. Remember, Violet scales really, really well into the late game as well. And if she has enough damage on her side, her sieging potential goes absolutely through the roof. So with that in mind, we are able to see that BRENT might just not win the late game team fights because Kilgroth would absolutely demolish them, but they may win via pushing.
Did you guys see what happened in the Darkslayer lane? I mean, the Kilgroth going on 1v1 there, immediately winning up the trade for CG's side. So this is good. We all know that this Kilgroth has to scale up, as Marco said, but when it comes to the late game, can BRENT Esports afford that? Because they're now going into this game to a 0-1. And note that if ever CG gets 0-2, that would be it for our match 1.
Yeah, that would be it for the match 1. And remember, it's all about the point system. It's all about understanding that you have to win the most amount of games in the least amount of time. So if CG does get this win and they walk away 2-0, they get way more points than doing a 2-1, for example. This means that we're able to essentially better determine who's going to be in that final game.
You know, I think for the people watching here in all Asia, you can always come down here to the stage to watch this game. As for, I think, in my opinion, Marco, this is going to be interesting because it's going to be a long game, so why not join us here in the stage?
Yeah, I mean, like, just watch us. It's very great to have all of you watching us. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful. I'm really excited for what this strategy is going to be. Everybody's kind of like walking around, and Violet is, of course, staying with her team so that she's able to siege properly. I believe they're just going to try to siege this mid tower down with Violet on their team and Breta covering her. It's going to be super easy. It's going to be absolutely just a free tower for BRENT Esports.
And they have to clear from this Breta, Marco. But for CG, you did say something about this Kilgroth, but can we also say that for BRENT Esports? Wait, hold that. Looks like a battle happening in the mid lane. Malik is trying to get away from the 2 members tailing on his back. And I think for BRENT Esports, they were waiting for an ambush. But we all know that for CG, okay, we're seeing something wrong here, they just back off.
They see something wrong, and I think one thing that's very important to understand is that they were trying to gank that Kilgroth up top, and that frees up their time to get this Dark Slayer.
Wow, what a sneaky Dark Slayer going towards BRENT Esports. I think for BRENT Esports, Marco, they know the condition for CG. They know that they're relying on this Kilgroth. They would just shut the game down and try to end it early with this early take and the Dark Slayer.
Yeah, an 8-minute Dark Slayer with a Violet and a Praetor on the team means that your team's sieging power is absolutely insane. That Kilgroth gank was actually really useful, though we didn't see it on screen. It was very effective in pushing CG back so that we would get enough space to get the Dark Slayer almost free. That's absolutely amazing. Great play on BRENT Esports.
So that question is for CG. They're still backing on this Kilgroth to scale up. But for BRENT Esports, they won't wait for that to happen, as we're seeing all the members going on to the Dark Slayer lane, pushing in the tower right until the high ground tower. Now CG being pressured in, XDD a bit overstepping here, goes back away. That's the Kilgroth they were all backing on, and now they're going on to the... They have to be careful. They need to protect the squishies and also their treasure so that they cannot give CG anymore.
See, that's the power of these squishy heroes, you know? If the enemy team is not able to get onto them, it doesn't matter whether or not they're squishy. Leather is making good use of Praetor's gas bombs here, you know, knocking all of the enemy off tanks and tanks aside so that he doesn't get caught in their crossfire. Very good placement, very good strategy, and very good positioning on BRENT Esports' side. It seems that they're trying to come back from that earlier crushing defeat, and it seems that they're coming back with style.
A lot of it too, Marco, because not only that they had a great start entering Game 2, they know what's at stake here. Now they're going for it hard. They want to force CG into the third game for our first match here. So, CG, what will be their answer here? Because BRENT Esports, they are not going to wait for that Kilgroth to be a huge threat in the late game.
So I think the way that we're gonna see CG win this game is if they take a team fight on BRENT Esports.
Arduin, what are you doing there? Getting caught there. Looks like he did get locked down. We'll see Kuroki going with that two-man knockup. Yeah, and you see this Violet just going in hard. But the Kilgroth pops that ultimate. XDD is back in the bot lane.
And this is what I was talking about, right? Like Kilgroth, once he gets in there, it's absolutely demolishing. Also remember that the entire team fight was a 4v5. Lubu was nowhere to be seen. So it's going to be very dangerous for BRENT to start team fights now. Now that Kilgroth knows he's strong enough to be able to take on 3-4 people, it's going to be very dangerous for BRENT to even attempt starting a team fight. So it might be great for BRENT to stay back and use their range advantage in order to siege towers, get objectives, and slowly but very surely win this war of attrition.
Because as for BRENT Esports, they have the Praetor. They can use that to their advantage. But for CG, you saw, guys, everyone here, I mean, you saw what XDD did. Pop that ultimate there, survive all of that damage, and immediately remove who's the huge threat when it comes to the late game. Kuroki has to be very careful.
Yeah, if Kuroki basically survives any team fight, they basically win this entire game. Kuroki just needs to be able to free hit for a few seconds. In fact, like 5-10 seconds is more than enough for a fed Violet like Kuroki is. So with that in mind, I mean, if you don't want to deal with the Kilgroth, go for a pickup. But for XDD, he does back away here. He connects stun onto the Arduin from the background. We see Thane pushing back as Gather. That's going to be a lockdown there. Look at them. All of CG going for the Violet. They remove the Violet. And now for BRENT Esports, without any damage, Leather can't do much here. CG are now winning this fight as they're pushing back the Ormar. They are willing to take some trades to the L'Oreal, but is it something they can afford when the game's at stake here? Look at this Malak going on to the thing. They can try to get some damage in. Looks like they'll settle for the Ryoma. See, this is what I was... Like, you have to understand that that fight seemed to be going one way, then completely turn, and then completely turn once again. We thought that it was going to be BRENT's win, and then suddenly CG was there, and then suddenly BRENT won that final team fight. It's a very big mixture of two different things, mostly because Malak was nowhere near the initial team fight, and then CG lost that team fight because Kilgroth decided to leave and farm a lane.
I mean, that's one way to say what happened there, Marco, but when it comes to the game plan, their strategy, the win condition for CG. I mean, you did say before that you gotta put this Kilgrowth on track and scale up. They're doing just that. They're reaching that point. So, as far as the game is progressing, I think when it comes to BRENT Esports, there's quite crucial time here because they get aced here in the mid lane, but looks like they're trying to pick up the Ryoma. Does escape here. They're really trying to shut down this Kilgrowth. Now we see 5 members all in the mid lane.
See, this is very interesting in my opinion, because Kilgrowth, admittedly, should be farming the lanes, right? He needs to scale into that late game. But we've already seen that Kilgrowth has already reached that tipping point. He doesn't actually need to farm anymore. He can take down 2 to 3 people all by himself. So it's really all about being in those team fights, because what good is a fed and farmed Kilgrowth if there's nothing to do?
I don't know what the Malik was thinking there, going for a 4-man dive in the mid lane tower. You gotta look at the Kuro, he does dodge away. The Violet's still alive, but Leather did some damage there. That did get the kill onto one member of CG. Now we see him live. The L'Oreal is forced out of this fight, but the Kilgrowth going straight to Kuroki, and he oversteps here. Gets shot down by Antihero, and now we are seeing Black and Lil low on health. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, Marco. No one from BRENT Esports side suffered a casualty.
That's what I'm talking about, you know, that range advantage, making use of those positionings and spacing so that CG can't do anything.
One went for a face check there, and Leather was there just to say hello. As for BRENT Esports taking away the Spirit Sentinel, why stop there? We can take away the Dark Slayer, Marco.
This should
take everything from the map.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna wipe this entire map. It's probably gonna be BRENT right now. This is BRENT's game to lose, essentially.
Don't leave anything.
Don't leave anything behind, you know, take all the towers, take everything. Leave nothing behind. I firmly believe that BRENT should just be using their huge range advantage to get rid of all of these high ground towers. Which they did exactly just that. So with this in mind, this should give them enough pushing power to be able to pressure CG continuously.
Okay, this is CG's crunch time. The last high ground tower, one more hit away, it does get destroyed. But look at Kuroki again on this Violet, and what a huge front line that he has to protect himself from. Because right now for BRENT Esports, was exposed, CG are now in a tight spot. Looks like they went for a clash there, focusing on to the Thane. Now BRENT Esports are pushing back the Kilgrowth. They don't have the damage here, but the Ryoma was able to take some damage in the fight. But still, I think BRENT Esports, they're not backing out here. They dove over the core itself. Still, I think BRENT Esports, they're not backing out here. They dove over the core itself. XCD, remove the Violet. Can he go for more? But in the end, look at that. Looks like BRENT Esports will end the game there, forcing this into a game 3.
Forcing this into a game 3 and meaning it's going to be way more interesting, and we're going to have much more higher stakes, because now CG has a lot to lose. If they lose this next game, they might lose a lot of points for this point system. They might not make it even to the finals for this day.
Yes, we all know that. Okay, so I think for the viewers asking here, we got to tell them the format here.
Yeah.
So when it comes to 2-0, you get 3 points because you swept them. But when you go for a 2-1, actually the losing side does get 1 point.
I see.
And for the winning team, they get 2 points. So think of it this way. You sweep the game, you get 3 points. So the total number of points you can get per match is 3.
Yes.
The maximum.
The maximum. Yeah, and at the end of the day, after each of these 3 teams fight each other in essentially round-robin style, we'll see which 2 teams have the higher score, and we will see who ends up fighting in our finals match. I think what determined that entire game was the fact that Kilgrowth might be great at killing enemy heroes, but he's not that good at defending the base. He has no CC capabilities, and all he can really do is attack things. So if the tank just decides to attack the entire core, what can he do about it? Not much.
Not much, because as for XCD, I mean, you guys saw the damage dealt by this Kilgrowth, but I guess this does conclude our game 2, moving on to our 3rd game in this format. I mean, top 2 teams making it to the finals, Marco. I think when it comes to our first match, it's something for our viewers out there to look forward to. But during this standby, looks like we are going to be preparing for our next game. So I think for the viewers, you know, watching up, so huge hello to all of you guys there. Hi, I hope you guys are enjoying the Valor Cup Season 2. So road to AWC, PH National Qualifiers.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
I mean, during this downtime, I think it's a great opportunity for all of you guys to come down to the booths, take some pictures, enjoy the event.
Yeah, and if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, thank you so much for watching us on Facebook or YouTube. Hi at you at home. I hope you're having a fun time. Please take this moment to like or maybe share this with a friend, you know, using our hashtags for the love of, GlobeAOV, and so on and so forth. You know, maybe who do you want to win? Tell us in the comment section, tell us in the chat, you know, who do you want to win this day? Who do you want to represent the Philippines in the national grand finals tomorrow?
Because this is going to be a 2-day event here. So I think for our first day, we did mention it was the PH National Qualifiers. But now, what are expectations coming to Game 3, Mark? I mean, you saw for BRENT Esports, you gotta hand it to them from coming back from the game 1, 18-4. That's not something that you can easily shake things off here.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrifying to lose by that much. But BRENT didn't let that phase them. They came back hard and they came back strong. But one thing I have to realize, one thing we all have to realize here is that I think that strategy worked because CG wasn't prepared for it. Now that they've seen that BRENT is taking that strategy, perhaps it might not work. Perhaps they might take a more defensive approach to their early jungle. Perhaps they might not 4-man roam into the center lane and attempt to kill. Who knows? It's very important to understand that AOV starts not when the minions spawn, but when you guys spawn. Because you're able to position yourselves well and match up with your opponents. So in fact, team fights can happen even before the minions spawn. So it's very important to understand that the huge strategy behind this game is what will this team do at the first 5 seconds.
You talk about the game like we don't care about the minions spawning. It's not an AOV game when you don't invade.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it. That's true.
It's true.
In a way. So that's the one thing I kind of don't see when I play AOV personally on my phone. I want to see some invades. That's the one thing very exciting about the early start of the game. So coming into our games 1 and 2, looks like, Marco, we have something in store for us in our third game. I actually have high expectations how this game will go by.
Who do you want to win? Who do you want to win in this first series match?
It doesn't matter what I think.
I mean, okay, look,
Okay, wait,
I just want to know your opinion, man.
Okay. So I think my opinion here is that when it comes to when I did see the CG struggle in the Valor Cup Season 1 Grand Finals, I saw great potential in CG. And as for you gotta hand it to the story where everyone loves the newcomer story, and it's BRENT Esports.
Yeah, BRENT.
So I'm kind of hoping for, on my side, BRENT is going to make it all interesting in the finals, if they do make it that far.
Yeah, I mean, like, we haven't seen BRENT in Season 1, so it's very fun to see them play. We haven't seen their strategies yet. CG is sticking to pretty much what they did in Season 1. It's not that overly different, but one thing I want to mention here is that though many people like the underdog, I understand that, and that's pretty much BRENT's esports story right now. We all have to recognize that CG was also in the finals of Season 1. That means they have that drive, or at least they had the skill to be able to reach that finals, but now they have a chip on their shoulder. They lost last time, so maybe that defeat spurred them to become even stronger now. Kind of like in those shows where the protagonist loses first, but then gains an instant power boost because he remembers how much work and dedication he put into this game.
That kind of reminds me of my childhood.
Oh, really?
In a way, because it's something that, I mean, okay, everyone's looking at me like, yeah, we can all relate to that, because something up to that point, you always want to see a hero from these games, and I can say right now that when you guys cheer for your favorite teams live in Mall of Asia, you guys are doing a great job, because you gotta hand it to the live setting for the audience to get something excited for. And when the games do progress and you see something like this kill growth going for 1v4,
yeah,
like we saw in our game 2, for those who are just tuning in.
Yes.
So we're giving you a short highlight of what I thought was my favorite parts of the game.
I see. I think my favorite part of that game was that topsy-turvy team fight that happened in top. So essentially, it wasn't shown on screen, but there was some huge meta plays going on there. In the macro level, essentially, BRENT Esports rotated to the top lane with 3 heroes, ganking the Kilgroth, who was alone. This was very important because they couldn't afford their Kilgroth dying because the Kilgroth was essentially their win condition. Kilgroth had to retreat, but his teammates, maybe perhaps out of fear or perhaps due to their coordination, also decided to go towards the top to support the Kilgroth just in case he was about to die. However, this essentially pushed CG all the way back to their base, freeing up the entire map so that Bren could get that early 8-minute Dark Slayer. A wonderful play of macro, a wonderful play of strategy, and I think that was my favorite moment of that game.
For me, it was the fact that when they went for invade. Oh, wait, you say like it's a bad thing, but okay. I love invades the most.
Okay.
And it makes it exciting. And I think when it comes to that invade, Marco, that Violet getting that double kill is what set the start for BRENT Esports. So, you know, it's my first time actually casting with Marco, so hi. It's my first time casting with Marco, but when it comes to listening to him, I think, Marco, you're putting a lot of input here, and I think I do completely agree with you when it comes to this Kilgroth. I mean, BRENT Esports, they completely knew what to do.
Yeah, I mean, they just understood the strategy of CG, and they took advantage of that early game weakness, you know, 5v5? What's 5v5? It's a 5v4!
What's a 5v5 to a Kilgroth? And you know, you can picture, when you look at the screens, guys, you can picture the map, right? For the Kilgroth, you can only see one lane, which is the solo lane. Everything is blacked out.
Yeah, this is my lane. I'm here to farm for like the first 5-10 minutes.
10 minutes. And
yeah.
But it works.
It works. I mean, like don't get me wrong. These teams are picking Kilgroth because he is that powerful. It's just that there are certain weaknesses to every character strategy. No character is absolutely unbeatable, and everybody has a weakness. I mean, even Violet has a weakness because the moment she gets CC'd, she absolutely gets deleted, right?
I think we saw that during one of the clash in the bot lane where the Arduin managed to connect that stun, or rather a 3-man stun, right at the edge where the Violet was standing on. So, looks like we're seeing a lot. This is what I like about seeing pro play, Marco. I mean,
yeah.
You see that when they see a powerful hero, they don't care. They know what to do. They know how to remedy it. That's why we saw in the drafting phase, Kilgroth is left open. So what? We know how to deal with the Kilgroth. That's the confidence that you see in some of the teams here entering the PH National Qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about that practice and the amount of skill they have in this game. I mean, it just goes to show that countering a hero is not always about just picking a counter pick. Sometimes a change in strategy is more than enough to neutralize a hero's biggest advantages.
You know what's the great counter to OP hero?
Ban him?
Yeah. You took it from me.
Got him. I mean, that's why Superman's always banned.
Oh, that's actually one thing we want to point out to the audience watching. So again, a huge shout out to all of you guys watching here live in Motivation Arena. I want to hear you guys scream and cheer for your teams. And I just love how we're seeing the Valor Cup Season 2 being in that scene. I mean, when it comes to people watching, it's a different vibe. I think all of us can agree here, right?
Yeah, I mean, all of you watching right now, whether you're in SM Mall of Asia or even watching at home, we're glad you're here on our stream. We're glad you're here to watch some of the best PH teams duke it out to see who will represent our country tomorrow. Well, maybe tomorrow. Who knows?
Oh, of course tomorrow.
No.
So come on, Marco. Because it's going to be...